I'm Lindsay More Nisbett, the co-founder and brand director at the Line Studios. And at the Line Studios, we create e-commerce and marketing imagery that drives growth for our clients. Today, we're doing a special mini segment on the topic of e-commerce creative, because really that's what we live and breathe every day at the Line Studios, and we love to talk about it. So I'm here with Lauren Rogala, our creative director. And Lauren, I thought you could quickly introduce yourself.
Yeah, definitely. So as Lindsay said, I'm the creative director at the Line Studios. I have been working in art and creative direction for the last 10 years across a whole host of brands, mostly in-house. Worked with a lot of startups in the fashion and beauty space like Supergoop and LaFleur. Also worked with larger heritage brands like Cole Haan, Kate Spade, Derek Lam, and have really been working to figure out how to make e-commerce imagery that really tells the brand story and the product story in a super successful way and works across channel.
Yeah, that's great. And we love that in-house experience because it really helps us to understand the brand's unique challenges. Yeah. So today we thought it would be fun to ask Lauren some questions regarding the state of creative in the e-commerce imagery. So I'm just going to dive right in. Yeah. From a creative perspective, how have you seen the e-commerce industry evolve over the last few years?
Yeah, so it's been really interesting, and I think it kind of follows the trend that we see in beauty and in fashion, where there are less specific trends that people are really gravitating to. So everyone's kind of finding their own niche, their own pocket, and really developing their voice around that, much as consumers are finding like the things they love and really diving into that rather than everyone kind of mass adopting one thing. So I feel like there's way less of an industry standard approach to how brands are capturing and presenting their e-commerce to their customers as a result of that. And additionally, like I feel like things are more relaxed overall, and it's more of like a creative exploration. So people are using imagery that you wouldn't typically find in your traditional idea of e-com. So bringing in some of that UGC, some campaign imagery, really having this mix of content across your category pages, product pages, and seeing how it all works together.
Yeah, that's really cool. So a very individualized approach, almost to match consumers' very individualized way of shopping themselves. Like everybody can now kind of choose their own adventure when it comes to how they want to shop. So that's really some cool insights.
Yeah.
What are some of the most interesting trends that you've seen happening this past year?
Yeah. So first and foremost is something, Lindsay, you and I have talked about a lot, which is this idea that category pages and product pages are the new landing pages. So a lot of times when people are coming to a brand, they're coming from digital marketing, they're coming from social organically, and they're landing directly on a product page instead of landing on that home page and then kind of exploring through that route. So these product pages are really turning into more of this storytelling landing page. So you have to have more dynamic and interesting content that really speaks to the brand's values as well as what the product actually is. So that makes me really excited because that means we're doing more dynamic content when we're shooting. We're really getting into that more like creative detail, and the worlds are sort of colliding between campaign and e-commerce imagery. I think also, as I mentioned before, that sort of mix of content has really grown too, where you're getting to the PDP and you're seeing a little bit of everything. You're seeing campaign, you're seeing video, you're seeing product on Seamless, you're seeing UGC. And it's really opening the door to like a huge amount of storytelling that's really exciting to tap into.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think the title of our brainstorm session for that was "The Homepage is Dead."
Yes.
But also those trends, definitely tie back to what you were saying earlier about everything. Brands just have so many very cool choices to integrate into their PDPs, and we're seeing a lot of that. And also to your earlier point, like the abilities to test it as well, see what's working is hugely important. So my next question is really I'm wondering what you think brands should be thinking about when they try to differentiate and stay relevant to their customers.
Yeah, so I have a lot of thoughts on this one. I think first and foremost, like now more than ever, it's so important to test the performance of your assets and constantly take cross-functional insights and data points from different channels and really think about them dynamically. So for example, look at your social insights, like what's working there, what are your customers responding to, what are they excited about, and bringing that insight into your PDP and say like, oh, customers are really responding to these detailed mirror selfies. I wonder what would happen if we put these in the PDP, to really test exactly what you're talking about of like, does this help return rates? Does the customer feel like they can see themselves more in it? So to me, it's really thinking through those cross-functional data points and really kind of looking at the bigger picture overall. So the point there is don't silo your data. I think that's one of my biggest takeaways from my years of experience in-house. I also think to stay relevant, brands need to not settle into this, well, this has been working for us and we've seen growth, shooting how we're currently shooting. So we don't need to change anything. I think we live in this crazy digital world where social trends change by the hour, as we all know. And I think you constantly have to be saying, okay, we've seen this do really well. We've seen our customers respond to it, but how can we make it better for them? How can we make it more clear? How can we add more dynamic visuals that really tell that product story? I don't think you can really settle into this has worked, so let's just keep going with what's worked.
Do you have any brands that you think are getting this right? If you have any more visual examples in terms of what you're seeing right now that's going really well?
Yeah, 100%. I'll share my screen again. Okay, so I think first and foremost, we have Merit, who just does an amazing job of storytelling across their whole brand. I am not a huge makeup shopper myself, but I'm very engaged in their brand and have converted from their marketing. I think they do an amazing job reaching their customers, and just kind of the mix of content on their site is so beautiful. So you can see like on the PDP, they have such a good mix of variety of skin tones and like how they're styling and using the product, beautiful product shots and like gorgeous details that are also super informative. They also have video, which is incredibly helpful. And I think too, this sort of idea where you have these infographics almost built in here is really helpful for people to understand what exactly the product is going to be like. So yeah, I think Merit does an amazing job with this.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I also love this where you can change the skin tone and see all of the different colors.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so it's so comprehensive what they're doing.
Yeah. Kind of because we do think about this all the time at the Line Studios. What do you think is unique about our approach when it comes to creative assets?
Yeah, so I think at the Line Studios, we're super dedicated to taking a really dynamic and flexible approach. And I think that lends itself really well to maximizing what you can get out of your shoot day. So we're really not like a one-size-fits-all studio where we're going to try to put you in a box and say, like, no, you need these 4 views and it has to be on seamless and it has to look like this. We really listen to our customers and our clients and really take time to understand what they're trying to achieve and then really help them get to that, no matter kind of how it comes together or what sort of puzzle pieces we need to put together for them.
And I think the fact that we do individualize so much is so important as we keep going back to like this individualized approach is really necessary. And I would also add to that, we love learning from the data and incorporating and optimizing. We're not just going to suggest kind of adding like a large expense to the creative production without understanding how that impacts the ROI of creative. So yeah, thank you, Lauren, for your time today. This was of course a very fun and also very insightful conversation. So until next time.
Thanks, Lindsay.